Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to go over congruent triangles. So congruent triangles are triangles of the same shape and size. This means that all corresponding parts, or angles and sides, are congruent. So we'll have what are called congruency statements. So, for example, if these triangles are congruent, it would mean that this side is congruent to this side is congruent to this side, and same with this one. So we could say, since it says if triangle A, B, and C is congruent to triangle DEF, then what we just wrote down is true, that basically all the corresponding sides will be congruent. So we could also say that angle A would be congruent to angle D. So notice this, A follows D, B follows E, C follows F. So we can also say that angle B is congruent to angle E, and angle C is congruent to angle F. Similarly, also for the sides, we can say that side AB is congruent to side DE, side BC is congruent to side EF, and lastly, side AC is congruent to DF. So all these markings are basically showing exactly what we just said. So a valid congruency statement must match all corresponding angles and sides, which is exactly what we did. We matched all the angles and sides together. So next, CPC-TC. So congruent parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So if we know that triangles are congruent, then we know that every pair of corresponding parts is also congruent. For example, based on what they gave us is that angle A is congruent to angle D, and angle B is congruent to angle E. So considering the theorem, we know that when you add up all the interior angles of a triangle, it equals 180, and they just gave us that two of the angles are congruent, well, then it must be true. So therefore, angle C must be congruent to angle F. Because if the two other angles of the triangles are equal, then the last angle must also be equal, because they're still going to add up to be 180. So properties of congruent triangles, don't forget your reflexive property, that for any triangle ABC would be congruent to triangle ABC. Symmetric property. So if triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF, then you can flop those around and say triangle DEF is also congruent to triangle ABC. For the transitive property of triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF, and triangle DEF is congruent to triangle JKL, then you can conclude that triangle ABC would be congruent to triangle JKL. That is it. Thank you.